Hi, and welcome. Doing business in tough economic times. At times when the economic situation seems to be deteriorating or is as bad as it is in South Africa now, many people use this as an excuse to sit on their hands. They delay decisions about investing new equipment, cut back on advertising, stop investing rather in the development of their staff, and they even start getting rid of employees. Times like these also provide excuses for people who tend to procrastinate. But there are businesses that are doing exactly the opposite thing. This is because there is still a market out there consisting of people and businesses that have problems that need to be solved. I recently called on an old client of mine who had helped with certain aspects of the business, and he was quite excited. He told me that one day he'd left his office, gone downstairs. His building is in the eastern part of the Johannesburg Central Business District, and he saw that at the building next door people were closing up. The owner was standing outside, watching people leave, and he looked like a totally devastated man. So my client went to speak to him and asked him what was wrong. And the chap told him, "We're out of business. Nobody's buying from us. It's all got to do with this virus." So what did my client do? He said, "Well, what do you actually make here? I've met you, outside when we're leaving and coming and going from our businesses. What do you do?" And the owner told him that it had to do with the production of overalls, various other safety equipment, and the various things that were required by industrial clients. And he said there was no business. So my client said, "Well, what are you going to do?" He said, "Well, I'm shutting up shop. I'm sending my workers home. I can't afford to pay them. And I'll try and sell this building. But in this environment, I'll probably get next to nothing for it." So my client said to him, "Well, how much do you want for your buildings?" And he said, "I don't know. It's a terrible situation." So my client said, "Well, yes, but what would you really be happy to accept as a purchase price?" And the owner of that small business said, he gave him an amount, and my client said, "Well, I'll buy the building from you." And the owner said, "Well, what are you going to do?" He said, "Don't worry. Do you still have your employees' contact details?" And I said, "Yes." He said, "All right, well, I'm going to offer you this much. Do you accept it?" And the building owner seemed delighted. He said, "Okay, fine. Just one thing. Please tell all your employees to arrive at work tomorrow." They did. But during the previous day, my client had got hold of various people who could do specialized work. And they started the production of masks. Remember earlier this year, masks were in big demands. And they started producing these. And they produced and sold, I think it was something like 14,000 in the space of about 2.5 months. But of course that market died out as imported masks or really low-cost masks were being sold for really low figures. And so he said, "All right, this is my client. Let's get out of that." And he got hold of the person who'd sold him the business and said, "You can make overalls and all sorts of protective equipment for industry and so on. I've got a lot of customers that I'm going to contact and see if they will buy from this business that I now own." I want you to manage it because you have experience. And the owner accepted that. And my client contacted all of his clients and said, guys, this is what I'm doing now, or it's one of the things I'm doing now. Can we get some orders from you? We'll send you all the information about what we make, the sizes, and the prices. And orders came in. Because people always order things when they have a problem that needs to be solved. So the orders came in. My client had made the seller of the building an offer to come and work there as a manager. So that story was so heartwarming that something like that can happen. I know that other businesses that are buying other businesses to expand their capacity, taking on new staff and developing them and investing in new equipment. Because I've worked outside of South Africa, I also know from some people that I've worked for there, like Zimbabwe and the DRC, that they have people and they are starting businesses. See, the South African economy has had its peaks and valleys for decades, but there are always businesses that benefit from growth and sometimes from decline. The key is to get out and see more people. Focus on selling solutions, not your goods and services. Go in and talk to people about their problems. And people are always looking for solutions to problems. So, talk to them about their problems, and then you can introduce your products and or your services. The other thing is to listen to your existing customers and find out what their major problems are, and see if you can give them any advice based on your experience in business. And at that stage, they may well start buying from you. If you're standing still, the world is leaving you behind. The other thing is that some people think that reducing their prices will move their product sooner and they'll do better. But never get engaged in a race to the bottom on pricing. What you offer your customers, what you offer is something that will benefit your customers. What you have to offer must be different. It's time to sharpen the sword, not to sit on your hands.